Speaking of enemy institutions, ladies and gentlemen, the last big thing from this to go over, and why at this point I see a lot of people, pardon me, with the things that are going on, especially with regards to digital ID and all of these things, mass immigration, etc. See a lot of people putting up petitions and all things like this, right? And I sort of become very disillusioned with petitions, rather sadly. Because I don't see them as doing anything. They're basically just people, opinion polling to the government. And I don't think people realize how little the government gives a shit. It's good for seeing public sentiment on it. It's a little bit like a poll, right? It's a little bit like a poll, but people think you get millions of signatures on a petition and think it's going to have drastic changes. It's not. It's not. Petitions are not going to work to bring about the changes that we need. That's absolutely true. Because this is something that Alex Armstrong, I believe is another GB News anchor, put up recently. He's a presenter on GB News. He's on Alex Armstrong tonight, Saturday and Sunday from 9 p.m. What happened was the government responded to a petition that had at least 2,753,000 signatures at one point, saying do not introduce digital ID. Digital ID, extremely unpopular policy, was not ever campaigned on, right? But it's been something that's been slowly building towards through successive administrations, right? As a measure to clamp down in like a China socialist, communist surveillance state social credit system, right? Society, social credit society. The first line is, we will introduce digital ID. So they literally just got back to Alex in this instance. The government has responded to the petition you signed, do not introduce digital ID cards. Government responded, first line, we will introduce digital ID within this parliament to help tackle illegal immigration. So not to mention, first off, that this is an absolute lie. Obviously, it's an absolute fucking lie. But I'm going to bring something up on screen for you now. This is the actual letter that he shared, ladies and gentlemen. I'll bring it up on screen. And it also says making government services easier and enable wider efficiencies. Not true. Not true by any means. It's designed for control. That's all it's designed for. It tells you a lot when even, let me bring myself in here a minute. It tells you a lot when even Clive Lewis and other Labour MPs have spoken out against this kind of stuff, right? And many others, even Adnan Hussein, who I brought up in the last episode talking about the Southport thing and in my opinion, the false story, which I think is far too convenient regarding Axel Rudikabana and his asinine assertion for an apology. Even they see seemingly where this is going and this is not a good thing, right? But look at what it says at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. You can just about see it. I'll read it for you. We are committed to making people's everyday lives easier and more secure. So putting more control in their hands, as a flagrant lie, because it's all about more control in the government's hands, and driving growth through harnessing digital technology. We also want to learn from countries which have digitized government services for the benefit of their citizens, in line with our manifesto. That is where the most egregious lie comes in, ladies and gentlemen, because it was never in their manifesto. It's a bare-faced lie, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I said. Whenever they claim to be doing something that is good for you, 9 times out of 10, it is just a bare-faced lie. I have a feeling that even with the slim amount of votes that they got, which allowed them via the first past the post system to get the majority that they did, right? Contrary to what people may think, and again, people in America have seen it, why did people vote for this? We didn't. Fact of the matter is, I think they had, what was it, about, out of a voter turnout of about 50%, I can't remember what exactly it was, but it worked out to the overall voter base that they could have had, they had about 20%. The administration that we're being ruled by at the moment had 20% of the country vote for them, thereabouts. And yet this is the power that they've been given. This is what they can do. They have no mandate for this. It's not like in President Trump's case where he won the House. Is it the House, the Senate, and the popular vote? Is that what it's called? For the first time in I think it's 20 years, a Republican president won the popular vote. It's not like that where you had a clean sweep of everything and you have a mandate to rule. About 20% of people asked for this. And I got a feeling if they knew what was going to be happening with digital ID, even a large part of them would have said no. A large part of them would have voted a very different way. So we'll see where this goes, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see where this goes. If you enjoyed that clip, then make sure to go on over to the Voice of the Valleys X page at VOT_Valleys on X. We're also on Instagram at Voice of the Valleys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Godspeed.